but luckily, I would say 99.9% of people born in Napoli are Napoli fans. It's impossible. It's almost impossible not to be, right? Because the
Yeah,
entire city is
yeah,
covered with things that relate to Napoli. You walk into any pizzeria and any bar and any cafe, and everything is just decorated with things about Napoli. So I mean, it would be very strange as a kid growing up and saying,
yeah.
"No, I choose Milan."
Hi everyone. Hello, pinball fans. So this is actually the first time pinball using English. So yep, I'm kind of flattered for this. So before we start, I will set this video to enable the caption so the Indonesian fans that want to know the talk with our guests can know the conversation. So okay, let's have it, guys. Napoli talks. Hey, hey Dom, how are
Hello,
you?
everybody. Hello, everybody from
Hello.
Indonesia. Thank you for having me onto your channel. It's a big, big pleasure for me.
Nah, it's a big
Uh,
pleasure also for us. So before we start, I just wanna I got the interesting information from you, Dom. So I heard you are in Indonesia. I think it's when it's kind of early of the 2000, right? 2006 or something like that. Can you tell us a little bit your experience in Jakarta, especially? How is it?
Yeah, so I moved to Indonesia in 2003 and
Yep.
stayed until 2006 because of my parents' work. So I was very small,
Yep.
and I had a great time there. So most of my day was school and then playing football.
Oh.
And what I really loved about Indonesia compared to Europe was
Mhm.
that there was no winter in Indonesia.
oh
So
yeah,
all
yeah.
year you can play football outside without, snow getting in the way. So for me as a kid, that was great because sometimes in Europe you cannot play in certain months of the year.
Ah.
Um, and that was really fantastic. No, I really, really enjoyed my time in Indonesia, and it's just such a beautiful country with so much natural reserves. It was just incredible for me to experience that. And yeah, I can't wait to come back, honestly.
Oh,
Oh
we will gonna wait for you, Dam.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, back to the main question. I know this is gonna be a silly question, but I just want integrate. I want to know the feeling about you. Why you choose Napoli as your club? Why? If it because of you are from Naples or something like that?
Yes, so I'm
Oh,
from the city of Naples.
oh,
So actually, my dad is from another city, but my mom is from Naples.
oh,
And when I was growing up, I couldn't follow Italian football very closely because again, I was living abroad, and Napoli at the time was actually in third division
oh,
Yeah, yeah.
because we had just failed as a club, and De Laurentiis, our current owner, had to pick it up and sort of go from the bottom of Italian football all the way up. But I remember I come back, I think I was living in Indonesia at the time. I come back to Italy, and my uncle, my mom's brother, brings me to the stadium for the first time, and it was a third division game, and the stadium was completely full of people, and you just walk into that ground, and there's this emotion and this noise, and the color blue everywhere. It was incredible, and from that moment I just fell in love. I was maybe 7 years old. I just fell in love, and I tried everything to keep following it, even though I was living far away from Napoli. And yeah, it's a passion that I've had ever since.
oh, wow. So, how did you get the information about Naples? Because the Napoli, because at that time, at your starting follow the Napoli, that's they starting at the third division, right? How
Yeah,
did you find it? Because if I talk with my fellow Napoli friends in Indonesia, they have to search at the what do you say, at the magazine, at the news. But because at the early of the 2000, the internet in Indonesia is not quite good, so the information from the internet is not fully available. But how
Yeah.
did you get the information?
So whenever Napoli was playing, I was connecting to a radio
Ah,
uh, in Italy where the commentator was explaining what was happening and then the goals but I just had to imagine the
wow.
games, right?
Oh
For
my God.
until Napoli got to the Serie A. So for 2 years, it was just listening to Napoli more than watching Napoli.
Wow.
And so I created sort of these movies in my head about what was happening on the
Oh,
field. But yeah, it was a bit different from how people normally, I guess, watch the sport. But yeah, I just wanted to keep up to date, and it was just incredible to see Napoli go from the bottom of Italian football all the way to Serie A, and then to Europe, then winning the title 2 years ago. It's been a good journey.
My next question is, uh, does Napoli or being Napoli fans is giving a value to you? You know, like representing a value in your life or something like that?
Yes,
Is it exist?
100%.
Okay.
oh,
So, for example, compared to some other teams
Yeah, yeah.
in Italy, but also around Europe,
yep.
it's very hard to find one city with one club. No,
Ah,
for example, Milan has Inter and Milan.
yep.
Turin has Torino and Juventus. Rome has Roma and Lazio, but Napoli has Napoli. No, so when you are a fan of the club, you're also defending your city,
Ah, I see.
so it's a bit different compared to the other ones because we can say that this club represents the city and no one else can say that. So that's also why, this club is a way for a lot of people to express who they are, right? Because
I
it's
see.
it's part of your birth certificate. It's
Yeah,
on
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
passport, on your identity document, it says you're from Napoli, and automatically that should make you a Napoli fan. If you're
Okay.
born, for example, in Milan, it doesn't automatically make you a Milan fan. You could be Inter,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
Napoli, you're born with it. So it's definitely a part of an identity. And then having lived outside of Naples most of my life, I would say that you try even harder not to associate that with your identity because it's unique. At the end of the day, there's not that many people that maybe support Napoli around the world. And so, yeah, it's something unique about you when you introduce yourself to people
I
and
see.
speak to people. So, yeah,
So it's more than just a club for someone from Napoli to support Napoli, yeah. Oh, interesting.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My next question is it forbidden for people from Naples to not support Napoli? Is there something like unwritten rules in Naples?
So basically, unfortunately, there is a small percentage, very
Okay.
small percentage of people that were just something didn't go well,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and they happen to be born in Naples and they support maybe Juventus or Milan or
Oh
Inter.
my
But I have
God.
to say that this was happening a lot for people that were growing up when Napoli was in the third division, for example.
Ah,
So
I
they
see.
wanted to watch a team that was playing in the Champions League or, at least in the Serie A. But Napoli had those, let's say, 5 years where things were going really badly.
Yep,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that group of people, unfortunately, there's a few that grew up when they started watching football, that they grew up as a Milan fan or as a Juve fan, and unfortunately, that's just something that happened. But luckily, I would say 99.9% of people born in Napoli are Napoli fans. It's impossible. It's almost impossible not to be, right? Because the entire
Yep.
city is
Yeah.
covered with things that relate to Napoli. You walk into any pizzeria and any bar and any cafe, and everything is just decorated with things about Napoli. So I mean, it would be very strange as a kid growing up and saying,
Yeah.
no, I choose Milan, you know?
They are like
So,
alien in their own city, I think, if they choose
exactly.
to be
Maybe
another
it's those
fans. Yeah.
kids,
Yep,
maybe it's
yep.
those kids that are a bit more rebellious, you know?
And it's really hard. It's really hard to imagine to grow up and then not support Napoli as a Naples origin, like something like that. Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think before I move to the next question, I've got to tell you a story, Dom. So when Napoli won the Scudetto last 2 years, actually I went there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah, yeah.
promise to this club. When this club winning a Scudetto, I'll be there. And the good thing, I watched the game, the last giornata. I know it's when Napoli met
Against
Sampdoria, right?
Sampdoria, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And that time also Quagliarella retired from the football. Uh, I know when you explain us how is the city. Wow, I went to there and I just want to stay there forever, Tom, because
Yeah.
the city, yeah, it's so good. The
It's a
people,
football city. It's a
yeah,
foot like the city it revolves around football, really.
yeah,
I've lived in a lot of different places. Now I'm based in Barcelona, which
yep,
has a big football history as well, but it doesn't have the
yep,
atmosphere that Napoli has. It's Napoli is football. The
yep.
two things are the same.
I don't know what to say, but the atmosphere is feels so different compared to the another city. If we talk
Yeah.
about the city of football, Naples is something different. That's why
Yes,
I feel.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the question to you, Dom, is did you come to the Naples when the Napoli celebrate the Scudetto that year?
I was there in the same game. I was there for the
Oh,
Sampdoria game. Yeah.
oh wow.
So it was a great emotion, that one. One of the best days for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, Osimhen scored if I'm not if I remember
Yep.
correctly, right?
Penalty.
Yeah,
Yep, correct.
Osimhen and Simeone, I
Simeone
think.
Ah,
outside the
Yeah.
box. Yep, correct.
Yeah.
So that's the second time I'm crying because of football.
Really.
Yeah, the first one is when I was a child watching Italy at the World Cup games when Francesco Totti got the
Got
red
red
card.
red card ya,
And the
2002.
second one is this one. When I come to the stadium, the Naples, that's I think for me is a dream. Our fellow Indonesia never have a dream to come to Europe to their club at the Europe to watch the game. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've got lucky to have there. So lucky.
And you picked a very a very good time to go. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's something that is super valuable because Napoli, as much as we are a football city, a football like we love football, we have not had as much success as some of the other clubs. No, I think it's very hard to win in
Mm,
Italy if you're not from the top three teams, let's say Milan, Inter, Juve, for a number of different reasons.
yeah.
So to actually, make sure that you are able and capable to go to Europe at the right moment, at the right time, that's really cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Speaking of the right moment, there, Dom. Is there a Napoli match you think is the most epic and
Yeah.
unforgettable? Can you share?
Unforgettable
And then
match.
why is that? Do you have that?
There's so many guys. It's super hard to say,
The top
but
one, the one pop up in your head right
Is
now.
it our
I
winning between Juventus 5-1?
yeah.
For
So
me, for me it is.
I would say that win against Juventus was the first time I was like, okay, we're gonna win the title.
I,
Like
Okay. Yeah.
it
Yes. Yes.
was a statement of no one can stop us.
I agree.
Absolutely no one can stop us. We have just destroyed our biggest rival, humiliated them,
Yes.
and we just felt so invincible at that time. And to do it against your biggest rival was very, very nice. So for me, that was the game that I said, yeah, we're gonna win the title, and that's incredible. But I think throughout the, let's say, last 20 years since De Laurentiis has been uh, with Napoli. There's been so many moments, right? When we won our first Coppa Italia again against Juventus.
Juventus.
2011 or 10,
Yep.
Rang?
Yeah, with
Yeah, yeah.
Lavezzi
Paulo
and
Cannavaro, the
Lavezzi.
Cavani.
captain, right? Paulo Cannavaro, the
Yeah,
Yep.
captain.
And the last time,
Cannavaro as captain.
Del Piero playing for the Juventus. I watched that
Yeah,
game actually.
yeah, and that was the first time we won a trophy, and
Yep.
you start to think, wow, this team can actually, we're actually building something. So
Yep.
that was great. There was also the time when Koulibaly scored against Juventus in the 90th minute in a season where I think that was actually our strongest team ever, where we
Yes.
got 91 points and we were 1 point away from the title. But when Koulibaly scored that winner in the 90th minute against Juventus at their stadium, I thought, yeah, we're gonna win the title. It was so all these things against Juventus, right? Um, if there's one that is not against Juventus, this is gonna sound super random, but in 2010, we were playing our first Europa League campaign. So this is the first time Napoli are kind of back in European competitions after a very, very long time. We
Mhm.
were in a group stage, last game of the group. I was in the stadium. We were playing against Steaua Bucharest, a Romanian
Yeah,
team,
yeah, yeah.
I know.
and it's 0-0. We needed to win to
Yep.
qualify past the group, and Cavani scores a header in the last minute from a corner. And guys, the stadium erupted. I have not. I've been to over 50 games, maybe even close to 100. I have never heard the stadium erupt like it did that night. It was as if as if people realized like, wow, this team not only can do things maybe in Italy, but they could also do things in Europe, which we still have not yet fully proven, but it was just the hope, that
Yep.
something was coming. I don't know. It was just a lot of emotions uh, throughout the 20 years with Napoli. There's so many moments, guys, but
Wow.
probably the ones against Juve are the nicer ones. They are the ones that they're the games that you want to win against Juventus because they represent the top of Italian football, and so yeah, winning against them is always something nice.
Yeah.
Dom, I'm really sorry if I smile throughout our conversation because it's really nice to see another point of view of a fans that really different from Indonesian fans, for their greatest moment and something like that. It's really broad from your point of view. It's really different. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's really
Thank you.
flattening. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, Nang, Rang, next question,
Yep.
Rang.
Okay. Maybe just one question to move the question to your Napoli Talk channel. Is there one your favorite, most favorite player all the time, or
Hmm.
at the Aurelio De Laurentiis era that
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah, yeah,
have
yeah, yeah, yeah.
rooting for him every day?
You are asking me to choose between my children,
No. Is it
it's
Politano?
hard.
Is it Politano? Is it Politano?
Absolutely not.
Rangga really hates Politano, Dom. You know.
Everyone,
No,
please.
no, man. Politano is a really good. Did you watch last night Politano like cut
Politano
inside like
does.
Messi? Like Ankara Politano, Ankara Politano.
Please.
Look,
Oh, sorry,
Politano,
sorry.
exactly like last night. No, he does something very good. He
Yeah,
reaches the box and then, you know,
that's
Oh,
what
it's
I'm talking every day at my at our channel actually.
oh, it's
Politano
really
capable
nice
to
to
do.
mocking Rangga. It's really
Yeah.
nice.
it's
Politano
it's
capable to do
incredible.
one magical moment, but another 80 minutes, it's shit, man. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
Politano.
Okay, okay,
No,
okay, Dom, Dom, please,
he's so
please.
inconsistent, and
Yeah,
it's very frustrating because he's got the skill to actually
I
do
know.
better, but
I
he's so
know.
inconsistent.
Yeah.
I would say, guys, my favorite player. Look, there's been a lot, right? I loved Cavani. I loved
Okay.
Cavani, and I loved guys. For example, when Higuain was at Napoli before Juventus,
Juventus.
Koulibaly, Mertens, all these guys. I'm sick, but for me, the one that really got my emotions up, there's two. There's Lavezzi and Kvara. When
Ah,
I'll
yeah, yeah,
start with
yeah.
Kvara because everybody knows Kvara. Kvara is the type of player that when I saw him play, I thought immediately, okay, he is maybe the best in the league from day one. And I thought, okay, we have a really special player. Um, and I think he's able to really be in that top 10 in the world kind of conversation. But the one that gave me the most emotion because he was pure energy, pure like just a little kid having fun. For me, it was Lavezzi. Lavezzi was this kid who arrived to Napoli a little bit overweight, okay?
Okay.
Actually. And when he arrived, there was a lot of criticism, like, who is this kid? He looks a little bit overweight. What's the problem with him? Um, and immediately since he started playing, we saw the skill, the bravery to go one on one against defenders that maybe Napoli had not seen since Maradona. No, so a new Argentinian after Maradona, and people again started to believe like, oh wow, maybe we have a special player with us. And clearly, he's not the level of Maradona, and he's probably not even the level of Kvara. But it was the first time people thought, okay, this is someone that can win us games. This is someone that I want to buy a ticket to be at the stadium to watch him play because he's gonna do something creative and magical. And he was our little Messi at the time,
Yeah.
So yeah, and as a little kid, I just fell in love with the way that he was, just running forward and really caring about Napoli. That's the thing. Like I remember there was this one game against Juventus where all the players were holding each other,
I
like they
know.
were in a line, holding each other before the game, taking a photo, and Lavezzi stands 1 meter
Yep.
away
Yeah.
from
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody else and doesn't touch the Juventus players, no, because almost as if he's like, I don't want anything to do with these guys,
Yeah.
no?
He's a
I know.
true
And
Napoletano. He's a true
yeah,
Naples. Yes.
yeah, so he really, understood what it meant to be a Napoli fan,
Yeah.
what it meant to defend the Napoli colors. So yeah, that for me was incredible to see, and I really enjoy Lavezzi.
Okay.
Ah,
Rangga and Dom, sorry, before we move on to our next question about Napoli inside the pitch, Rang, I want to ask one more question related to the rivalry between Napoli and the other teams. So, Dom, do you have any team that you hate the most? I know it's Juventus, right? Yeah, me too, of course. And then, uh, if we read in the media in Indonesia, we always read about the difference between southern and northern Italy in terms of economic, social, and something like that. Do you feel that as people from Naples, and then, yeah, how does it feel, for people from the southern Italy when we meet someone from northern Italy like that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
definitely there's that aspect, right? And I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that maybe this was a little bit more in the 80s and 90s, and
Ah,
maybe
I see.
my generation already is a bit more, let's say it's a bit different
Yep.
already. There's a bit less of this rivalry between North and South, which is
Yeah.
nice.
Yes.
But I mean, you have to think that historically, the South, let's say 100 years ago,
Y-
150 years ago, a bit of history lessons.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
150 years ago, the South was doing very well, right? Then Italy was united as one country. And what happened was the guys in the North sort of took all the wealth that was in the South and brought it up north and essentially made the South poor. And so there
Okay.
was for a long time this idea of these guys stole something from us, right? They literally,
Ah,
like, we had the Bank of Naples and they literally just took all the money, and
I
just
see.
brought it up. So there was this thing of they stole from us, and then they developed all the industry in the north and everything, and it made the South very poor. And what happened was people from the south were then immigrating to the north to find jobs
Yep, yep, yep.
because they were made poor. But when we would go into the north, we were treated like second class citizens, right? Like almost like illegal immigrants coming to another place, no?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
To the point that if you were to try to get a room somewhere or a house, people would say, "Oh, you're born in Naples." No, we don't sell houses to people born in Naples. Even if like for them it doesn't change anything, right? Like they get the money, they can just give you the house,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they just didn't want to hear anything about it. So there is this rivalry between North and South. It's getting better over time. Because I think there was a lot of ignorance before. But yeah, that then translated into football because, as I said, Napoli represents Naples.
Yep.
So when we would then play away from home, when we would go and play against Juventus, Verona, Atalanta, all these places in the north of Italy, Napoli team was representing the struggles of all the Napoli people. So we would go there as a team and we would get abuse from their fans. No, but if we won, it would be like a victory, not just for Napoli, but for the city and for the Southerners living in the north. That they could go to
Yes.
the office the next day and actually feel proud of where they're from because they were getting a lot of abuse from being Southerners while living in the North. So
Oh,
that's sort of the rivalry between North and South, which is getting better, I think, over time, however.
okay. Oh, Rang, it's really nice perspective, Rang.
It's
Different,
a great
new.
perspective.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And then it came from someone from that place
Yep.
originally. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Because we,
Rang.
we just know the football, right? Not the
Yeah.
history behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay. Let's put aside Napoli for a while. I'll be asking you, Dom, about the Napoli Talk because, to be honest to you, Napoli Talk is one of my source of truth for finding the news of Naples or Napoli because actually I have two more using the English. So basically, it's a Napoli zone, the Napoli zone at the
yes,
X, and actually one of them is I think it's Nico Shira, if I
yeah,
don't mistaken. Yep. So that three, including you, is one of my source of truth using the
thank you.
English because I'm sorry because my Italian, I still learning about the Italian language, but my Italian is still so worse, so bad. So can you give us the perspective why you starting this channel, actually the Napoli Talk channel using the English, as if you know the Italian people not so well using the English, but do you want to reach a broader area or broader audience to hear about the Napoli perspective, or give us
Yeah.
the perspective about that? Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys will know that when I start my videos, I say, Napoli fans from around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. So really my audience is people around the world, not more than just people in Italy. And I realized that living abroad, the last 20, 25 years, that I would meet people that are Napoli fans, like maybe you, that they want to follow Napoli. They follow the game, of course, but then they want more. They want to hear a perspective after the match. They want to have a community to interact with, but they don't have that outside of Italy, right? And in Italy, you have all the TV and radio shows and newspapers, and there's already a lot going on there, but no one was really, catering for the international community. Or maybe there would be someone, that was doing things, but just in French or just in Spanish or but there wasn't a universal language that was being used. And so it happened during COVID where I said, you know what, let me set up a YouTube because that's what everybody was doing during COVID.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep,
yeah, yeah.
right.
Everybody set something up. I said let me set up this thing because I think it's something that could do well, and yeah, I'm really happy with with the community that we have right now, because it's all these people from all over the world, Australia, Georgia, Indonesia, Nigeria. It's really cool. And yeah, I'm very happy that you use me as a source of truth. And yeah, I also thought that maybe what was missing was a little bit of, let's say, more tactical analysis, because there's a lot of people that make content that is just reporting the news, no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
this person said this, or this is the transfer.
Mm.
But I thought, okay, well, they can just translate the article from Italian to English, and they don't need me for that. But maybe what was missing was someone that explains the tactical side of things. So I tried to focus a little bit more there in my post-match reactions, where I try to highlight different interesting things that happened during the game.
All right.
All right, all right, all right.
That's a nice insight from you. So, for the Napoli talk itself, is there any plan on the future that you want to expand it to another area or another content, or is it in line with the Napoli guideline to Napoli to the world? What your takes on that?
So yeah, I'm hoping to expand it. Maybe in the future, I also go on Twitch, which
Oh.
I don't have at the moment.
Mhm.
But the idea would be hopefully to, yeah, grow this to the point where I can also maybe invite some ex-football players from
Yeah.
Napoli, or if not the players, maybe get an interview with someone working there as the chef, or someone working there as, anyone related to the club,
That would
right?
be really
I,
nice. Yeah, yeah.
actually, I already know some people there, but it's very difficult to get the approval
Yeah,
to,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
for example, I have a knee injury at the moment. I tore my ACL, and my doctor
Uh-huh.
is the same doctor as the Napoli player's doctor, no?
Ah.
So sometimes we chat and he tells me some information, but he cannot be on the interview. Like the club does not
Uh-huh.
allow him to make interviews.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, but yeah, maybe doing that with some ex-players or people that used to work at the club, that would be sort of the next step, I think, for the type of content.
Yep. Yep. I just
We,
request
yeah.
one person to interview by you is Tommy Starace. The
Yeah.
the kid man. I
Oh,
love
the kid
this guy.
man.
I love this guy. The coffee maker. He's a funny guy. I love him so much.
But if I do that, I want to be there in person so that he makes me a coffee.
Oh, I want
Oh,
that too.
I can imagine how good the coffee would be taste.
Oh,
Oh my God.
It's
And then yeah,
legendary.
it's
it's
legendary.
legendary.
Maradona drink a coffee from him, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
This guy's been doing it for more than 30 years. It's incredible.
Yep,
Yes, yes, yes.
that's a patient.
Whew.
Really, he's a patient of
Dom,
Napoli.
last question from me, Dom. What what do you expect from Antonio Conte Napoli right now? So Ranga is really passionate, and then Ranga really optimistic about Napoli gonna win the Scudetto this season. Do you think the same? Do you agree with him? Like he's really self self-declaring self-esteem Napoli fans in Indonesia. Can you ground him from
Okay.
a little bit,
That's
you know?
that's very brave. That's a very brave prediction.
Yes,
But
and yeah,
let
yeah,
me
and yeah, yeah. Go, 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 go,
but
go.
I think we just had the game against Juventus, and that was the first real test of,
Yes.
okay, where are we compared to the other big clubs? And look, we started the season very bad with the 3-0 loss to Verona. But since
Yes,
then, it's been 3 wins, this draw. We've had 3 clean sheets in the last 4 games, and the only goal that we conceded was with a penalty against us.
Yep.
So when I think of how much we've improved compared to last year in such a short amount of time, I think, wow, this team, if you give Conte another 3 months, where can they still go?
yes.
If that's how much they're improving every week, then maybe by the end of the season we are better than Real Madrid. I don't know, but
Oh,
uh,
wow.
the the idea is that I think we have a lot of improvement still. I think we can be ahead of Juventus, Milan, Atalanta, all these clubs. But Inter, I think Inter is just a little bit still too high because I saw the game that they played against Manchester City, and Manchester City for me is the best team in the world right now, and they were at the same level.
Yes,
And
yes, yes,
so I
yes, yes.
think
Agree, agree.
and so I think Inter has something, that experience, that they've been together with the same coach for a long time, that other teams at the moment in Italy don't have. We all have new coaches and everything. The only thing that maybe could stop Inter is if they do very well in the Champions League, then they have more games to play that could slow them down in the league. Uh, but I think we're just a step below at the
Yeah.
moment. But hey, I mean, Antonio Conte knows what he's doing, and I trust the process. I think
Yeah,
next year, yes, with Conte next year, I would say Napoli, but this year, just a little bit
Yeah.
below.
so
Yeah.
Rangga,
And
please
next
be
year
humble,
I'll be there.
Rangga. Sorry,
But
please be
next year I'll
humble.
be
Right.
there also for
For this
Conte.
season, you please be humble, man. Please, please. Look
It's
at Dom.
possible, man. It's possible, man.
Look what Dom
But it's
said to you.
possible.
It's possible, not impossible, but it's
Yeah,
possible.
it's possible, but you should be humble like Dom, not like
Or
you right now, you
or
know.
even Torino or Udinese, that they've started the season super well.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
they
well,
are going to win the league.
No, I
yeah.
think I think Udinese gonna lose to Roma
Yeah.
today. I think or it's a
But
draw maybe.
did
Yeah.
you believe in Indonesia we have in Udinese fans? I think we have
Really?
Yeah,
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 yep.
yeah. Can you
Actually, we
believe it?
already talked
Yeah.
with them at the content last week.
Yeah.
And I quite surprised too because in Indonesia we have some of the team that actually started because the Indonesia have the program with Italy called Indonesia Primavera with the Sampdoria at the first of the 90.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
sent
the
for
early
our
90s.
young
Yeah,
kids
yeah.
there and train with the Sampdoria. So that's the start of the in Italian football is getting and bigger
Yeah,
famous in Indonesia.
yeah,
That's
the wave, the
crazy.
wave. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So this is the last question. I don't want to take all your time, but this is the interesting question for you. What is your best 11 Napoli of your all time? Not bringing
Oh.
Maradona, bro, because we don't watch Maradona in our era, right?
So in
But
my era,
yeah,
yeah.
in our era.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna go with uh Pepe Reina in goal. Then on the right wing, Di Lorenzo, right back Di Lorenzo. In the middle, I'm going to have Kim and Koulibaly. On the left wing, I'm going to have Gulam. Then the middle, I'm going to have a midfield for sure, Hamsik, Lobotka. It's tough.
It's
I'm
tough.
going to say Hamsik, Lobotka, and Alan.
Ah, Alan.
And then Alan, yeah, because you need someone that is there to, like,
Yeah. The
break
break.
some ankles,
Yep. I know.
you know. And then we are going to have in the front three, we're going to have Cavani, striker,
All right.
Mertens. I'm gonna put him on the right,
All right.
which is not his natural
Yeah.
position, and Kvara on the left.
Oh wow. Cavani.
Maybe, but yeah, I would put Cavani as our number nine. Um, just incredible. More than 100 goals in 3 years is just
Yeah.
silly numbers. It's
Yeah, I know.
crazy.
I know.
But
Oh wow.
what about you, man? I'm interested to know about your thoughts as well.
Okay, okay. For me, I grew up at the era when I starting to rooting for Napoli when I see Morgan DeSantis. So when you say what for the goalkeeper, for me is Morgan DeSantis at the right back. For me, I'm gonna using the three back. So for me, the I know Koulibaly and Kim Min-jae gonna be there, and The one I'm gonna put it into the captain is Paulo Cannavaro. And
Mm.
then at the right midfielder is gonna be hard, but for me, I grew up watching Christian Maggio in there, so I put Maggio in there. And in the midfield, I'm gonna using Fabian Ruiz and Lobotka, and also the left back, the left midfielder. This is gonna tough, but for me, I'm gonna put Gulam in there. The prime Gulam is so unbelievable, and the attacking midfielder I'm gonna put Hamsik, and I will set two striker in there. I'm gonna say Higuain and also Mertens in there. It's gonna
Oh,
hard
interesting.
because the striker at the Napoli is beast. It's beast.
Yeah, Napoli has always had amazing strikers.
Yeah,
That's facts.
it's hard
But
when it's come to striker.
No Cavani
I know,
is
I
crazy.
know,
It's
I know.
crazy, man. It's
I'm gonna say
crazy.
sorry to the all Napoli fans, but for me, Prime Higuain is incomparable to another one. Even that I hate Higuain so much that he moved to Juventus, but I can deny the
Well,
fact. But I can deny the fact Higuain is so great under the Sarri.
Yeah,
oh
it
yeah, yeah.
was it was truly fantastic that especially that last season.
Yeah,
36 goals in the league. Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
And
unstoppable
yeah,
machine.
compared to the Immobile using so many penalties,
Yeah.
Higuain all most of his goal is open play.
Yeah,
So
and beautiful
incomparable.
goals, you know.
Yep.
Beautiful goals. Yeah,
Yep.
what a shame about Higuain, but yeah.
Yeah, I do. Okay, that's all for me. Reza, anything that you want to ask before we close this?
Nope, enough. Thank you for your time, Dom. It's really nice
Okay.
to have a conversation with you, creating this content with you. It's an honor for us, of
It's an
course.
honor for us.
And
Thank you,
it's
man.
a pleasure for me to be part of your channel, guys. And I want to say hello to everybody in Indonesia.
All right. Thanks a lot,
Yeah, thanks a
Dom.
lot, Dom.
We hope we can do a similar interaction like this in your channel in the future, maybe like that. But anyway, thanks a lot, Dom. Thanks a lot, everyone watching
Yeah.
this channel. See you in another episode. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.